Hey guys, it's Moonlander back with another horror movie review, and today we're going to be looking at the 2018 movie Hellraiser Judgment.
What is going on here? Let's just dive in, shall we?
Now, before I start this review, I have to say, I am a fan of Hellraiser. I think Hellraiser 2 is in my top 10 best horror movies ever. But I can't remember the last Hellraiser movie I watched. It might have been Bloodlines. It was some time ago, and I kind of gave up on the series. If I wanted to watch Hellraiser, I'd watch an old one. But this one came up in the new releases, and out of desperation to watch something, I decided to go ahead and rent this. So this Hellraiser Judgment is directed by Gary Tunnicliffe, and now this guy is a makeup guy that owned a makeup artist company, and the company was called 2 Hours in the Dark Inc. And according to his IMDb page, he closed it in 2016 so he could work on other things such as directing. And his company and him have worked on notable movies, I would say. They worked on Blade, Feast, Exorcist, The Beginning, and Candyman. I mean, so they've worked on a lot of notable horror movies. So Hellraiser Judgment is about police detectives, and they're investigating a murderer that's murdering in the name of the Bible and the Ten Commandments.
What we're investigating is very dark.
Just curious. What do you see?
You think you're too close to this case?
They get assigned a female detective to assist them in the case, and she's also supposed to evaluate and keep an eye on the main character, the lead detective, who there are concerns about him getting too deep into this case. Now this investigation eventually leads them to a house where Pinhead and the Cenobites are operating. So the things I liked about Hellraiser Judgment is I thought the casting and the acting throughout the movie was decent, which I thought was surprising. Now, the main character, the lead detective, I thought was a really good casting choice, and I thought this guy did a good job playing his role in this movie. And there's a first-time Pinhead played by a Paul T. Taylor, and I will say I thought he did fine as Pinhead, really. And I can also say this movie is got some strange scenes in it, and I mean, they were fun to watch. And I would have to say there was a satisfying outcome toward the end involving Angel from Heaven. Without giving it away, I don't know why, it just felt satisfying. But for the things I didn't like about Hellraiser Judgment is you definitely get a sense of a limited budget the whole time that you're watching this movie. Other than the acting and writing being halfway decent, everything else just feels like it was limited by the budget. Now, it has a $350,000 budget listed, and yeah, that just doesn't get you very far when you're trying to make this kind of a movie. And while I thought this Paul T. Taylor did alright as Pinhead, he might have 5 minutes of screen time in an 81-minute long movie. Now, they don't show a lot of the Cenobites, but they do have this character called the Auditor that's played by the director, and he's in it a decent amount of time, but at the same time, his makeup isn't all that interesting, really. And there is very little gore or interesting kills in this movie, and you pretty much are expecting to see something insane in these Hellraiser movies. And now there is a part where somebody gets their skin cut off, but I mean, it doesn't really show it. It just shows these blades going at this body you don't see, and the skin just pulls off, and I mean, it looks very lame, really. And I'd also have to say that the twist at the ending is unsurprising. And I mean, when it happens, you're like, oh yeah, that figures. I'm not surprised, So my final thoughts on Hellraiser Judgment is, if you go into watching this with low expectations, you'll probably enjoy it somewhat. I will say, I mean, I kind of liked it, but I knew not to expect much. And I will have to say that if they make more Hellraisers, which I guess I missed, there's a hidden scene after the credits where 2 Mormons go up to a house in Germany, and they get interrogated by this auditor. I missed that. I just read about it. If they make another one, I probably would watch it. I thought it was decent enough for the budget they had that I would watch another one. In fact, I might even go back and watch some of the ones I skipped, just because I really do like the premise. It's just, when you're such a big fan of the older ones and you see where it goes and what they do with it, it's just hard not to be disappointed. But I think I've had enough time to get over it where I can enjoy these newer ones on some level. I'm going to give Hellraiser Judgment a 5 out of 10. And I would suggest watching it as long as you don't expect much. Alright, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next review.